I mean, like, I know they shot it with the exact same technology, it just doesn't look as good. You know, I think it's easy when somebody mentions comic book movies to default your brain towards either Marvel or DC. But let's not forget comic book publishers that are outside of those two brands that have broken through into comic book cinema. And one of the best to ever do it was Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller's 2005 Sin City, one of my favorite comic book movies. But just like any good thing, it can't last forever. And while Sin City remains one of the greatest adaptations ever put to film, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For was a bit of a letdown. So join me in today's episode where I take a throwback look at Sin City 2: A Dame to Kill For and figure out what the f*** happened to this movie.
Metal screams. Something hits me square in the chest. There's no up or down. I know what you think.
In 2005, Robert Rodriguez changed the way we look at comic book movies forever with Sin City, his picture-perfect adaptation of Frank Miller's graphic novel series. It was such a passion project for Rodriguez that he even resigned from the Directors Guild so that he could share directing credit with Miller himself.
This movie was going to be so different from how regular movies were shot that it got into trouble with the DGA, who said, oh, well, co-directors can't have co-directors.
The movie, of course, was a box office success, making $158 million worldwide off of a modest $40 million budget. But more importantly, it gave us a thrillingly unique example of how green screen technology could be utilized. Put simply, you've never seen a graphic novel come to life quite like Sin City. And naturally, with a wealth of source material still available to them, Rodriguez and Miller would want to make a sequel to their hit movie. And they did, although it took a whole lot longer to come to life than anybody initially expected. Hope you're ready to travel back to that hard luck metropolis known only as Bassin City, because we're gonna find out what the f*** happened to Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. Now, Rodriguez and Miller were so confident that they were going to get going on a sequel to Sin City that they announced work on it before the first flick even came out. When the film had its premiere at the 2005 Cannes Film Festival, Rodriguez stated that he and Miller were going to adapt Miller's famous Sin City book, A Dame to Kill For. The plan was always to bring back some of the first film's most memorable characters, whether they survived or died, as the new film would serve as both a prequel and a sequel to its predecessor. In March of 2007, Frank Miller said during an interview that he and Rodriguez had gotten the script just about ready and were planning on shooting it in June.
There's just something holding it up. It's some money thing, you know.
Obviously, things did not work out that way, and it would be several more years of will they won't they pseudo updates on the anticipated follow-up. But it's clear looking back that Rodriguez and Miller were always eager to get to work on it. In 2007, Rodriguez was so confident in the imminent production of Sin City 2 that he was already looking ahead at Part 3. The director revealed he and Miller were planning on adapting Hell and Back, the longest and one of the most popular Sin City stories, for the third film. Rodriguez mentioned that he was envisioning Johnny Depp to play Hell and Back's protagonist, Wallace. As he'd wanted Depp to star as Jackie Boy in the first film but missed out, Rodriguez saw Wallace as the perfect vehicle for this actor. Additionally, Rodriguez mentioned that he wanted to bring longtime friend and collaborator Antonio Banderas into the fold and was looking at the many characters in Sin City in an effort to find the perfect fit for him. Well, as of this writing, Sin City 3 does not look to be in the works. As for A Dame to Kill For, it would take several more years before things really got moving on the sequel. In August of 2011, a little over 6 years since the first film's release, it was announced that Oscar-winning scribe William Monahan, best known as the writer of The Departed, had come on board to work on the long-gestating Sin City 2 screenplay. At the time, Rodriguez said Monahan was brought in to, quote, round out the script and solve some problems. It seemed as though connecting the various stories and characters together were the main issues Monahan was brought in to correct. Rodriguez seemed confident that the script was just about in fighting shape and said they were hopefully going to get ready for production soon after. It took almost another year, but finally in April 2012, almost exactly 7 years to the date after the first film's release, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For was officially announced. In the press release, Rodriguez said the long wait was thanks to getting together something that was truly exceptional, something that would be worth the wait for the fans hungry for another trip to Basin City. The expectation was for the film to go into production summer of 2012 with many familiar faces returning, to be joined by some intriguing new faces. So who would be inhabiting Sin City this time around? Our familiar faces included Mickey Rourke, Bruce Willis, Jessica Alba, Jamie King, Powers Booth, and Rosario Dawson. Several characters from the first film would return, but with new faces. Dennis Haysbert replaced Michael Clark Duncan as the brutish Manute due to Clark's tragic, untimely passing. Jamie Chung replaced Devin Aoki thanks to the latter's pregnancy. Jeremy Piven replaced Michael Madsen in the role of Bob, and Josh Brolin was now tackling the role of Dwight, played by Clive Owen in the first film. Although this casting made sense thanks to the fact that the character undergoes radical facial reconstruction at the end of his segment in the new film. Owen was originally supposed to return as the transformed Dwight at the end, but scheduling would not permit it, hence Brolin portrayed the character post-surgery as well. A new and important character written specifically for the film was Johnny, a wily gambler on a mission to topple one of Sin City's most corrupt figures. Joseph Gordon-Levitt snagged the role after allegedly coming very close to playing Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy. Some reports even speculated he turned down the Marvel movie in favor of the Rodriguez one. Oof. As for the most crucial new character, the seductive psychopath Ava Lord, a handful of names had been attached off and on over the years, the most prominent being Angelina Jolie, who'd been linked to the role going all the way back to when the first film came out. In 2007, Rosario Dawson said Rodriguez was waiting for the non-pregnant Jolie to have her baby before he could move ahead with the film. Jolie herself commented on the speculation and noted her interest in tackling such a sexy role post-baby, joking that it would be a nice movie to do after her child's birth. While she did indeed seem like perfect casting at the time, Jolie never did venture to Basin City. Aside from Angelina, the most prominent name attached to the role was Rachel Weisz, then best known for her work in the first two Mummy films. How close that came to being a reality isn't for us to say, but regardless, it did not come to fruition. Supposedly, Rodriguez's old pal Salma Hayek was also in the running, but that didn't end up happening either. In January of 2013, it was officially announced that the role had gone to Eva Green, with the press release colorfully noting Ava Lord was, quote, every man's glorious dream come true, and also every man's darkest nightmare. With the cast all set, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For was supposed to hit theaters in October 2012, but while shooting was still going on during the summer, the release date was pushed back almost a full year to August 2014, a little under 10 years since the first film. The film generated some early controversy, or perhaps positive buzz, that June when the MPAA banned a sexy poster of Eva Green that they felt showed too much skin. Officially, the reason for this was, quote, curve of the underbreast and dark nipple/areola circle visible through sheer gown. To which we ask, and that's an issue because? For her part, Green didn't understand the controversy, and noted that if people had a problem with the poster, they'd probably have a problem with the entire film, which she didn't see as being exploitative in the slightest. As for the fact that she's nude throughout most of the movie, Green noted that she didn't think it was gratuitous, insisting that the way Ava uses her sexuality is an essential part of her devious character. Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the Store tab on any of our JoBlo channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some. Sin City: A Dame to Kill For finally arrived in theaters on August 22, 2014. Perhaps it was that 9-year wait, but the sequel landed with a brutal thud, opening in 8th place with only $6.5 million. Considering the budget this time was a lot bigger, reportedly around $65 million, that thud truly hurt. Even the Weinstein Company, the distributor, couldn't sugarcoat their disappointment, with the head of theatrical distribution admitting they weren't prepared for such a level of rejection from the public. The bombing of A Dame to Kill For stirred up some hurt feelings, and a series of lawsuits followed the dismal opening. A year after its release, Robert Rodriguez sued some of the producers of the film for $7.7 million, claiming they had committed a breach of contract by not paying money owed to him and his company. He dropped the lawsuit several months later, but the same producers turned right around and sued him back to the tune of over $20 million for cost overruns and production delays allegedly caused by Rodriguez on the film, which they believably claimed they made no money on. Of course, it didn't seem anybody did. Another lawsuit was brought on by those same producers in 2019, this time against the Weinstein Company, claiming the distributor was too busy promoting their film The Giver when they had agreed to put more resources into the PR for A Dame to Kill For. The suit alleged that the Weinsteins had promised to spend $30 million on Sin City, but only pledged about 10% of that. They were ultimately awarded $17.4 million in damages though. None of those legal shenanigans might have been necessary had the film been a hit, but it most certainly was not a hit. So what went wrong? Too many years between films? Had the first film's novel look become stale? Was there never much of an interest in a follow-up to begin with beyond those hardcore fans of the books? There have been rumors of a Sin City TV show floating around for a while, but as of the making of this video, we're still waiting to see how that pans out. As with any metropolis filled with sordid characters and their unseemingly deeds, there are millions of stories waiting to be told from Sin City. Question is, do we want to hear them? Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.